Hello and welcome everyone. Today will be the start of series which I've called SwiftUI from scratch, where we will be taking a look on how to develop your own native iOS application all the way from setting up your working environment to publishing your app on the App Store. The first step in our journey will be downloading our code editor. Open up the App Store on your Mac and search for Xcode. This editor is free to use for everyone. After successfully installing and opening Xcode, this window will show up on your screen. On the left hand side, you will be able to choose how you want to initialize your new project. You can either create a brand new project or clone an existing one from a Git repository. The other option is to manually open an existing file or project on your Mac. Then on the right side is a list of your recent projects inside Xcode. For the purpose of this video, we'll be creating a brand new Xcode project. So select the first option, and after this you will see a bunch of pre-made templates that you can use for your application. However, we're not going to use any of these, so you will just click next here. And here we can specify our project. So first of all, our project name, which will be demo for this. We will not worry about the team or the organization identifier at the moment, and make sure the interface is set to SwiftUI, otherwise you will be using Storyboard with UIKit, and keep the lifecycle and the language as it is right now. After that, click on next, and now you will choose the directory where your project is going to be saved. So for now we can save it on our desktop and click on create. Before we start, let's take a look at some control panels inside Xcode. On the left side you can see your file manager with all the files that have been created for you by default. In case you cannot see your file manager, go to View, Navigators and click on Project, or the shortcut is Command 1. And in the middle you can see your code editor where we will be creating and modifying our code. And on the right side you can see your canvas, which will show the preview of the UI of your application. In case you cannot see your canvas, click on this icon right here and click on canvas here, and it should pop up on your screen. The files that have been created for our project are demo app, content view, assets, and info.plist. Content view is our main file, which is going to be executed whenever the user opens up your app. The demo app.swift is a life cycle of your app. The assets catalog is for importing all your assets and media such as colors, fonts, photos and more. And the info.plist takes care of your metadata for your project. The last thing that we're going to cover in this video is how you can actually preview your app. In the top left corner you can pick on which device you actually want to see the preview. For me it's going to be iPhone 12, but you can choose whatever you want in here. And on the right on your canvas you will actually hit this resume button, and after a while you should see your device on the right side. So now when I modify this text to hello everyone, you can see the preview is dynamically changing. The only problem with this is that it is actually static. It cannot change in real time, so this is only for static preview. For the demonstration of how preview actually works, I've modified the code so whenever I tap on this button, the number should increment by 1. But as you can see, whenever I actually click on this, nothing happens. That's because, again, the preview is static. To make it interactive, you actually have to hit this button which says live preview. So when you hit this button, you can actually see that the application works. So whenever I tap on the button, the number increments by 1. That's how you can make the static preview more interactive. Although it looks like the preview is fully interactive now, it is lacking a lot of functionality that a real iPhone would have. I have modified the code once again, and now it should open up Safari and open my YouTube channel. Even if you turn on the live preview now and try tapping on this button, you will see that the application does not work. For this to work, we need to start a running simulator. In the top left corner, you can either press display button or hit Command R on your keyboard, and you can see now that a running simulator is starting to boot up on your screen. After tapping now on the button, we can see that the app is now functional. So the question now might be, how do I actually know when to use a live preview and when to use a running simulator? Well, in general, you use the live preview whenever you're developing the front end of your application, your UI. And in the case of using some kind of a backend, you will need to use a running simulator for your app to function well. The last and the best way to test your application is to run it on an actual device. Make sure that your device is connected to your Mac with the lightning cable, and then there are going to be 2 requirements for the app to actually run. In the top left corner, click on the name of your project right here, which will show some settings for building and running of your application. We're going to ignore the rest right here and go to signing and capabilities. And now we're actually going to specify our personal team. In the beginning, we skipped this, but if we want to deploy on a real device, we have to create our team. In case you don't have this set up, you will click on add an account and fill out your Apple ID and some information. And after doing these steps, you should be able to see and pick your team in the selection. The second requirement is in the build settings. Right here you can see that the iOS deployment target is set to iOS 14, which you can, by the way, change to whatever you like. So make sure that your device is running iOS 14 or above as well, otherwise this will not work. When you're done with this, in the top you can select your actual device. It should appear right here, and after selecting it, we can simply hit Command R to run our project, and after a while we should see that our application is up and running on our device. So when we tap on the button, we are redirected to our YouTube channel. Alright everybody, this is the end of my first video on this channel where we've covered how to set up your Mac for iOS development. Be sure to subscribe if you're interested in seeing episode number 2, where we will be diving into coding your first application.